Hey, what's going on, guys? Joker here. I know, first video after I created this channel like 2 years ago. It's weird, but I decided for my first video on this channel I wanted it to be something special, and that's when I decided to review the best movie of 2022 so far. That being Matt Reeves' The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson as the lead role, and Zoe Kravitz, Colin Farrell, and Paul Dano as the lead supporting roles. This movie is just so good from beginning to end. I can't think of better ways to describe it. Robert Pattinson is the perfect blend of Batman and Bruce Wayne, and he makes his own interpretation of the character that I thought was honestly perfect. And you can't, and honestly, I think it could be beaten, but I think it would take a while and a good actor to actually beat Robert Pattinson. Zoe Kravitz portrays the perfect version of Catwoman. Her Catwoman is a 50-50 split in the comics. It's either she's just there to get comic readers to be like, oh, there's a sexy character in the comic. But Catwoman should be as like a flirty, but kind of like she cares about Batman and wants to do good because of him. That's what Zoe Kravitz portrays, and that is the perfect interpretation of Catwoman. But then it goes into the villain, the main villain of the story, Paul Dano's the Riddler. This is what you needed to do with the Riddler. If they were gonna, this is what I imagine would do in like the Nolan films. This is perfect. I love this character. Paul Dano has always been expressing like weird roles when he does acting, and this is just perfect. He's weird, he's crazy, he's literally portraying a psycho criminal, and he's doing the best job at, and he's also a really smart psycho criminal. Jeffrey Wright also is in this movie as Commissioner Gordon, and I think he's like a good like help to Batman in this movie. He sort of like just like helps him, and he's like a really good friend, but still not having full trust of him, like how all the policemen do in this movie. Colin Farrell is, I guess how you would say he's the worst part, but he's just playing a comic book character, and honestly I like it. The only part I don't like about Colin Farrell is that he is tall. I've always seen Penguin as a short man. Maybe it's because I like Batman Returns and I like Danny DeVito as Penguin. Maybe it's because I just like him being a short man. But I still like Colin Farrell's interpretation because it's sort of like if Penguin was raised in Gotham, and I'm pretty sure that's how the comics interpret him. I'm pretty sure the only British interpretation of him is in the Arkham series. And like, but then the movie kind of like the riddles in this movie actually like puzzled me. You know, they were like, oh, this is like actually like making my brain think. Like it's actually curious. Like that's what the Riddler is supposed to do, and that is what he does in this movie, and it's great. There was a deleted scene recently posted by Matt Reeves. And it features Batman interrogating the Joker, played by Barry Keoghan. Now, if you know that name, you know him from Eternals, which I think he did a pretty good job, I guess. He's one of the best parts of the movie, I guess, if you want to talk about that. And Barry Keoghan, like, he is like, for the interpretation I'm assuming Matt Reeves is going for, where like it's a guy who's tortured by this acid, and he's like tortured, and like he's still stepping into the role of the Joker. He's doing a great job. Like I didn't expect, like obviously when you're getting a new Joker, you're always like, oh, is it going to be better than Heath Ledger? That's not what you're thinking with this guy. Like he appears in a little end scene, not like a post-credit scene, but he like in close to the end of the movie he appears talking to Riddler, and he's so like portraying such a good character. Like, and I'm excited to see what they do with him. I don't think if they do a sequel to this movie, I don't think they should use the Joker as the main antagonist. I think they should use a new character and save the Joker for a trilogy. Yeah, that's what you should do with him. But it's just like this movie just is so like perfect, and I can't think of like a better way to like do this character. It's like Matt Reeves pulled off like so many characters perfectly, and that's when I think, why have so many directors in the past like not understood Batman as much? Like, say what you want about Tim Burton and uh, freaking Christopher Nolan, they only understood like the core Batman. Like they only understood like normal the old Batman comics like Killing Joke and Year One and stuff. But but Tim Burton just did his own thing and it worked for the time. But it's not good anymore. Well, it's good. It's a good movie, but it's like not good it's not good anymore because we have new standards. And Zack Snyder, as much as I like the Snyder cut of Justice League, he doesn't understand Batman. He only understood The Dark Knight Returns, which is a good comic, but it's like saying that One More Day is the best Spider-Man story. It's not, and there's good Spider-Man stories that are like hidden in the gravel, like hidden in the dirt, and they're like diamonds in the rough. You gotta find them, and it's the same with Batman. He based it off a comic I didn't even know. Batman Ego I never heard of, and it fully shows that he understands this character. It's like what Marvel does. They just base off like their movies off of bunches of comics that we never heard of, and then they tell an interesting, unique story, and that's what this movie is. It makes me feel good that this movie and the direction we're going with Batman is this, because I can't think of a better way. Like, this is the best interpretation of a live action Batman. My ranking is Robert Pattinson, Christian Bale, Michael Keaton for the most best Batman. I still have a soft spot for Ben Affleck, not because he's a good representation of Batman, but he's doing a good job portraying the character Zack Snyder wanted. That doesn't mean he's portraying a good Batman. He's just portraying a different version of a character that is basically Batman, but he's not. He doesn't show the core values. And I'm happy that Batman in this movie doesn't use guns and doesn't kill. They finally stated that Batman doesn't kill, he doesn't shoot people. That's been his number one rules forever, and it's taking movies now to say it. Like, we literally the Batman before this was killing people left and right. It's like, but now we're getting a Batman who sticks by his moral code, and it's perfect. It's perfectly showing that dark, gritty, but also morally perfect character Batman is. Batman, this movie is so like good, and I loved it all the way through, and I'm actually excited for a sequel. And honestly, Matt Reeves was talking about wanting to do with Mr. Freeze, like a grounded Mr. Freeze. I want him to do that because Matt Reeves took the Riddler, who was last seen being kind of ruined by Jim Carrey, but it wasn't because of Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's a great actor. He was being ruined by Joel Schumacher, and Joel Schumacher did that also with Mr. Freeze. And I want to see Matt Reeves take a grounded, but also like reinvention of Mr. Freeze. Like, it's so perfect. Like, this movie is perfect. It's what it feels like. It's straight ripped from a comic book, and it's perfect, and it's grounded in realistic versions of a comic book. It feels like an Elseworld story. Like, it feels like a more modern Gotham by Gaslight in some ways to me. And I'm happy that they're finally understanding these characters and doing good. I'm excited for Black Adam because I'm excited what they do with that character. I'm excited for The Flash and Shazam 2, and not Aquaman 2, but I'm excited for all these other movies because they finally understand these characters. It took them like 5 years, but they finally understand like these characters and they're finally doing something with them. Like this kind of train has been happening since like the Suicide Squad, where we're just getting back to back good DC projects, and I'm like, I loved Peacemaker. That's a great story and series, and I love this movie. It finally shows what I wanted in a Batman story. So, anyways, that's what I had to say. In short, Batman is peak fiction. The Batman is peak fiction. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow my Twitch at twitch.tv/Joker_Games4132. I will be streaming tomorrow if this video gets out the day I'm recording, and I'll hope to see you all there. Peace!